Hello everyone, this is Raghav, a subject matter expert at the GATE Academy. In the last video we have seen velocity analysis and what is velocity analysis and how to do velocity analysis and what are the different methods that are available for doing velocity analysis. We have seen that. In this video we will solve a problem for velocity analysis. This problem was asked in GATE 2012 for 2 marks. It's a very good question. Many students get confused in this question. If you look at this question, the question is like this. In the mechanism given below, if the angular velocity of eccentric circular disk is 1 radian per second, the angular velocity in radian per second of the follower link for the instant shown in the figure is. So he gave a cam follower mechanism. In this he gave the velocity of eccentric disk and he is asking us to find out the velocity of the follower. Question is something like this. This is the given question. So here he is saying that, so angular velocity of eccentric disk is 1 radian per second and what is the velocity of this particular follower for this given configuration. So this problem can be solved by a relative velocity method or instantaneous center method of velocity analysis. But if you see relative velocity method of velocity analysis, it is more graphical, so it's time consuming method. So if you look at the instantaneous center method, so it's less graphical, so the amount of time that it takes to solve this problem is also very less. So we'll solve this problem by instantaneous center method. In instantaneous center method of velocity analysis, first we need to look at instantaneous centers inside the mechanism, and then so we have to use angular velocity ratio theorem for finding out unknown angular velocities inside the mechanism. First we try to look at instantaneous centers inside the mechanism. So I am calling this as link number 1. Fixed link is link number 1. This is link number 1. So this follower I am calling it as link number 2, and this eccentric disk I am calling it as link number 3. These are the 3 links. So whenever 2 links are connected by a turning pair, so the instantaneous center of rotation for the 2 links will lie at the turning pair. 1 and 2 are connected by a turning pair here, so I12 will lie here. So similarly, so 1 and 3 are connected by a turning pair here, so I13 will lie here at this turning pair. So I12 lies here and I13 lies here. So we have already seen this Arnold-Kennedy's theorem. If 3 plane bodies have relative motion among themselves, then the 3 instantaneous centers formed from them will be collinear. So here we have already located 2 instantaneous centers. And I can see the third instantaneous center that is missing is between 2 and 3. So here there are 3 links, link 1, 2 and 3, and these 3 links are having relative motion among themselves. So since there is relative motion among themselves, the 3 instantaneous centers that are formed from these 3 links will be collinear. The 3 I centers will be collinear. Already we have located this I12 and I13. I can say like this, I23 lies on line joining I12 and I13. So this is I12, this is I13. So if I draw a line passing through these 2 instantaneous centers, the third I center, that is I23, will lie somewhere on this particular line. This is clear from Arnold-Kennedy's theorem. But if you look at links 2 and 3, for links 2 and 3, they are connected by a higher pair. 2 and 3 are connected by a higher pair. So for a general higher pair, so the instantaneous center of rotation will lie somewhere along the common normal at point of contact. I center will lie somewhere along common normal at point of contact. So since it is a higher pair, 2 and 3 are connected by a higher pair, I center should lie somewhere along this particular common normal. But at this instant, since there is relative motion among these 3 links, the 3 I centers must be collinear. It means the third I center must lie on this particular line. So since it's a higher pair, I center should lie along this particular line. And according to Arnold-Kennedy's theorem, at this instant, I center should lie on this line. If you look at this point is common for both the lines. I say, so I23 will lie here. So I23 is located here. Now we have located all the instantaneous centers. So don't get confused. For a general higher pair, so I center lies somewhere along the common normal. Whenever I say higher pair, so the relative motion between the 2 links may be pure rolling, may be a sliding or maybe slipping, whatever. We are not interested in what type of relative motion is taking place between the links. Whenever it's a higher pair, so we have to just see the type of contact. What type of contact is there between the two links? If it is point contact or if it is a line contact, we consider that as a higher pair. For any higher pair, eye center will lie somewhere along the common normal. And for different instants, the location of eye center will be changing along this common normal, but it lies somewhere along the common normal. So this is how we need to look at instantaneous center of rotation whenever there is any higher pair located inside the mechanism. Now we have looked at the instantaneous centers inside the mechanism. So if you look at angular velocity ratio theorem, we have already seen this in velocity analysis. So if angular velocity of some link m is given in the mechanism, and you want to find out angular velocity of some link n. You want to find out angular velocity of some link n. So we have seen this one. It is omega m into distance between I1n, Imn is omega n into distance between I1n and Imn. This is just the definition of the relative instantaneous center of rotation. So this is relative instant. If you see 2 and 3, I13, so I12, it's nothing but instantaneous center of link 2 with respect to link 1. These type of instantaneous centers with respect to fixed link, we call them as absolute eye centers. And you can see this is instantaneous center of rotation of link 2 with respect to link 3. So these type of eye centers, instantaneous center of rotation of one link with respect to another link, the other link is not fixed link. These type of eye centers are called as relative eye centers. What is the meaning of this relative eye center? Relative eye center I23 is nothing but, so instantaneous center of link 2 with respect to link 3 is nothing but, it is a point on link number 2 which is having a zero relative velocity with a coincident point on link number 3. Now see here, this is link number 2. If I extend the shape of link number 2 something like this, if I choose this point on link number 2, velocity of this point, if it lies on link number 2, will be exactly same as velocity of the coincident point on link number 3. You choose this point on link number 2 and find the velocity, absolute velocity. You choose this point on link number 3 and find its absolute velocity. That velocity must be same. So it is that coincident point for both the links which has zero relative velocity. And from there we get this. So here in the question it is angular velocity of link 3 is given. It's given as 1 radian per second. And we are asked to find out angular velocity of link number 2. I can write like this. So it is omega 2, so distance between, so I12, 2, 3. So omega 3 into distance between I13 and I23. So we have already located these instantaneous centers. Since we have already located these instantaneous centers, I can find the distance between 1, 2, 2, 3 and 1, 3, 2, 3. So omega 2, so we need to find out, so omega 2 into distance between I12 and I23. So this is I12 and this is I23. Distance between I12 and I23, this is 50 mm. Omega 3 is given in the question, this is 1 radian per second. Distance between I13 and 23, I13 and 23, this is 5 mm. I can say like this, so omega 2 is 0.1 radian per second. It's a very simple question. Most of the students gets confused in locating the instantaneous center I23. So they are connected by a higher pair. For a higher pair, eye center lies somewhere along common normal. And for a different instance, so by using Arnold-Condis theorem, we can locate the position of the instantaneous center.